So, that ticker always comes on 3 seconds after the fact they go on air. Every time I watch a replay, I'm sitting here like an idiot waiting for the. I guess just me and you again today, John. Anyone have eyes on John Smith? Anyone have eyes on him?
It was not my turn to watch him. I don't know what he's up to.
Yeah, I had to clock out early. Who knows? Who knows? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Essential Wrestling Podcast, episode 84. And for the second time this evening already, the first time we did a pre-production, I think it's the second time I missed it. My Ms. Funko Pop just refuses to stay on the wall. I'm trying, Ryan. Future, I guess you got an endorsement to be in the Hall of Fame, the first inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. We'll discuss that in a little bit. As you can see, we're a little short-handed today. John Smith is actually under the weather. Rumors going around town that Gary has a voodoo doll all the way in Northern Ireland, and the jokes that John Smith was cracking last week because Gary wasn't here just came back and bit him in the ass. But today, on the Essential Wrestling Podcast, which is always powered by the Eastern Observer, you can taste the power. I'm with, as always, the first ever PWP champion, the living legend, John DeConnie. John, how are things this wonderful evening? It's some warm weather in Jersey the past couple days.
Yes, it is a beautifully mild winter's day here in Jersey, and we're doing good.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. That is fair. On today's episode, John, we got to talk some things. Gary and Ryan will be here with us in a little bit, so it won't just be us. But on today's show, Bobby Lashley, Daniel Bryan, his way into the WWE Championship match last night on Raw at Day 1. Paul Heyman fires up Brock Lesnar on SmackDown. That's going to be an interesting topic of conversation. Matt Cardona puts his championship opportunity on the line last week on Impact. Gary Mehaffy, like I said, he is back with us this week. He is feeling better, although he's making John Smith sick to his stomach. Gary is back to discuss the new NXT UK Tag Team Champions from this past Thursday overseas. Ryan Joy is also back with us. He's going to be with us in our AEW segment, which we get to in the end. I kind of should have crossed that one out. He's not here to discuss Ring of Honor. We make our picks for this week's upcoming shows, presented by MinutesToBellTime.com and sponsored by ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Got it back. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. And guys, she'll like it too. I missed it last week, John. Missed it last week. We're going to main event our show, like I said, with Ryan Joy, our senior AEW correspondent. We're going to be making our picks for Winter is Coming, which is going to be, from what I understand, both Wednesday and Friday, just like they did at Grand Slam. It's going to be a 2-night parlay event. Only thing we know 4 matches for Wednesday, and I'm sure there'll be more announced on Wednesday. For Friday, we won't be able to pick them because we're not back on the air. We're only on the air once a week. They should have a morning show. We should do a morning show where we'd be able to discuss this kind of stuff. But we're going to curtain jerk the segment, John DeConnie, with a little bit of it was a sad segment. It was a hard segment. We knew it was coming. We just didn't know I felt it anyway. I knew it was coming. I felt it in my heart. And then as it was happening, it was just tough to watch. But after 6 years, we bid farewell to the heart and soul of NXT, the one and only Jonathan Wrestling Gargano.
Rebel Heart gone too soon. Yeah, they did something a little cute at the end there where he got attacked. So you started to think like, well, maybe they've got something else planned for him down the line, but apparently not. Nope.
Yeah, so not to go into, if you definitely want, we're not going to try to do any of that kind of stuff just to try to go through word by word and pick apart what Johnny said. It was from the heart. That wasn't a character. That was him. And he's right. Apparently, whatever his X amount of day clause, if he has one, I don't think he has one because his contract up. He's just looking forward to the birth of his child in February. little wrestling, little takeover. So he's going to be concentrating fully on that, and rightly so. When you're a first-time father, I guess all eyes on that. That's 100% business. But yeah, it was Grayson Waller came out and ruined it, and rightly so. Johnny didn't eat the pin at War Games, and he stayed with the old adage: when you go out on your back, you put somebody else over, and that's what we had. And Grayson Waller got the rub. What do you think about that, John?
He's definitely a guy that they're moving into, a higher position. He gets to talk a little bit more every time we see him. He was right there in the middle of that War Games match and everything. We've seen it. He definitely can go in the ring. So, of all the guys they could have picked, he certainly would have been on my short list too. So, no complaints there.
Yeah, and then it wasn't just Johnny. We all had the rumors that, and I guess Johnny was confirmed. I think somebody confirmed. I don't know, it was Uncle Dave or something. I think Johnny is out of NXT, and I believe Kyle O'Reilly is as well. He was in a steel cage match to start the show, and same thing.
Yep, he took he counted the lights for Mr. Von Wagner. Of course, it came on the other end of a blatant low blow, and then Wagner did that little flipping butterfly suplex thing that he does, and then afterwards gave him a little extra, tied him to the tree of woe, slammed the door on his face a couple times because you really need to put a little extra effort into getting over someone who looks like Neanderthal Man as a heel.
Let's see. Johnny has Pro Wrestling Tees store up that pretty much confirms it. Kyle has been quiet. See, and just to put a let's not hit the wrong thing. So I'm still a little rusty. It's only my second week back from a kind of a big layoff. I'm still a little rusty with the graphics and everything like that. Just to put, like I said, Johnny was always on the heart and the soul. Just the things they accomplished that they've had. Kyle O'Reilly, if you look at what he did, I'm judging this based on takeover records because that's the only thing I know, and I haven't, in my head because I always enjoyed keeping the stats. And unfortunately, that's gone because takeover's gone. But Kyle O'Reilly, he appeared in the most team matches in takeover history, and he's the all-time winningest team competitor. At one point, he was tag team champions. Walking the aisle, defending the tag team championships with all three other members of the Undisputed Era. Bobby Fish in the beginning, he had the one match with Adam Cole when Bobby Fish got injured right before the match. And then Roderick Strong, when he jumped, he took over in that spot. It was actually at the same show. So he's the most decorated team athlete in NXT history. And then Johnny, forget about it. Johnny Takeover was his other nickname. Yeah. Has the record for most takeover appearances by far. I think he's like 8 or 9 ahead of the person behind him. Kyle O'Reilly's in top 5 on that list as well. He appeared in, I believe, 13 or 14. And then Johnny Gargano can say one thing that nobody else can. He actually walked the aisle defending all 3 championships. He walked the aisle defending the NXT title against Adam Cole. He won it at TakeOver. He walked the aisle as North American champion. He won that belt at TakeOver as well. And then the tag team championships with Tommaso Ciampa and DIY way back in the day. They won them at TakeOver against the Revival. Then they walked the aisle the next TakeOver as well. So Johnny and Kyle, the contributions that they made in NXT, specifically in TakeOver history, it's going to be missed. And with the guys that are already gone, now you add those two and a one, potentially two. There's a difference now. And I guess, like I said, we are in a new era and we just got to keep rolling along. And with that, John DeConnie, Santos Escobar, Zion Quinn, they had a match that's been brewing. We kind of made the argument last week that should have been a match at War Games. Santos got the win with the Phantom Driver, but there's questions here. There's a lot of questions here. Elektra Lopez, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't just hand; she puts the brass knucks on Zion Quinn's hand. He kind of comes, because he's kind of half out of it. He comes to, realizes what she did, and tosses them to I think it was Wild that was standing on the apron there, and then punches him, knocks him off the apron. But then he turns around right into a Phantom Driver, and it's over. And you're thinking to yourself, like, was that her making her move out of the group? But then she's at the top of the ramp at the end of the show. as if, oh, that was all just part of the plan. Well, I don't know if I'm buying all that, but
It's
I
a
guess
plan. I think it's a part of the plan because I think Zion is supposed to be the good guy here. Good guys, in your stereotypical world, they don't cheat. I don't think he was expecting Nux in his hand and doesn't throw them. It was the distraction. I think either that or she's the most calm woman of all time because her plan didn't go correctly, and she was kind of cool with it. So I feel like I feel like that was a plot, and it was well done because it said it has us asking these questions. Why would she give Zion Quinn brass knucks? Dexter Loomis defeated Carmelo Hayes via disqualification after Loomis had silence locked in and Trick Williams punched Dexter. So to be continued with that, I believe that was supposed to be Trick in the match anyway, and Trick still hurt from War Games, I guess, even though he wasn't in the match. So to be continued to that. Big shocking win. My hopes for the Creed brothers were a little too high, but I expected the Creed brothers to just go on this undefeated, untouchable warpath, and they lost to Brooks and Jensen.
Yeah, I did not get that. 2 weeks ago, I thought it was very clear. I thought O'Reilly and Wagner would take the belts off Imperium, so you had them on faces for the Creed brothers to step right in there and take them right off of them because they were going to be, the NXT tag team, and for them to waste that, here's their first loss to Briggs and Jensen in the middle of this weirdness where Imperium's watching from that riser in the middle of the stage, and GYV is messing with them from ringside, and just
the tag rope. How funny was that? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
That might have been the greatest heel maneuver ever.
I know, right? Why did it take to the year 2021 to think of stealing the tag rope and then the guys not being able to tag? I thought that was brilliant. I mean, it backfired.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't work.
It didn't work.
The only thing that kept it from being the greatest heel maneuver of all time.
Yeah, but it was the roll up that did the Creed brothers in. Now we know how these amateur wrestlers and real life shoot fighters, aka Shayna Baszler, they're always a little more susceptible to the roll up than, let's say,
which is just
anyone else in history.
Cracks me up every time.
So, and then unfortunately, okay, the shaman, MSK, they found the shaman. They finally revealed the shaman. I'm okay with it being Riddle, but John DeConnie, I believe we had this conversation on the discussion thread. It would have been so much more fun if it was Van Dam. And I think if Hunter was in charge, it would have been Van Dam.
Yeah, it would have made so much more sense. It would have, because it's not like Riddle's going to go down there and be somebody's mentor or anything like that. You could have, it could have been a one-off or a 1 or 2 appearance thing for Van Dam, and it would, it would have popped us who've been watching for a long time. And what are you going to do?
Yeah, it would have been fun. But Riddle is like, oh, I miss Stallion Pete, that beautiful thing. Stallion Pete and Roserways. They were fun. Going into tonight's action, John DeConnie, I'm sure you thought the same thing. There goes Duke Hudson ripping off Kurt Angle, but they actually had on Twitter today, and I was checking to see if any matches were added. They actually had a who wore it better with Duke Hudson and Kurt Angle. So they realized they were ripping off an old gimmick by putting a wig on a bald guy we saw the wig. I'm like, okay, wear the earmuffs. And then they went on right after that. So we actually have Duke was complaining that Cameron Grimes cheated. So they'll get at it one more time. This is a very outdated picture of Duke Hudson. And probably of Cameron Grimes too. His hair is a lot shorter than that. And I'm not talking about his chest hair either. I think his chest hair is the same length. But these two are going to go at it no holds barred tonight, John DeConnie. Who do you got?
At this point, I didn't see the point in shaving Duke Hudson's head to begin with, but now that it is shaved, well, what are you going to do? Give me Grimes again, just because he's grimy. We love grimy.
Yeah, but so you got to think. I know Duke's got to win one of these. So maybe it's tonight, but it just seems like the poker player, when you're playing poker, you're supposed to be. It's like chess. You're a step ahead of the next guy, and he just hasn't been. Right. I know that's the whole point of the gimmick. Like Grimes, this whatever the stereotypes and the slander that I'm not going to repeat on air because it's wrong. That Ducat keeps on throwing at him. When does this end though? Like if Grimy does this end, or does Duke just keep on going at him? If this end, I feel like this has to end, and I think Duke Hudson has to win it to end it. So I'll go with him. Boa was in his chair, the chair that Xiling left for him. Now he controls the powers of Xiling. I guess he has a problem with Edris and Mehaffy. John DeConi, I believe Edris, I think it was 2 weeks ago, they did a video package on this guy, and he's got the look, he's got the tools, he's got the talent. To quote Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters, Winston Zedmore, there you go. And then they throw him in his debut match against Solo Sikoa, and I'm like, dude, they just did not do this guy any justice whatsoever. Now there's, I think Boa came out and he did whatever. Somebody came out to him. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Boa or not, whatever. But now he's got Boa, who's supposed to be developing this character that he's got all of the powers that Mei Ying. I said Xiling before. Mei Ying and Xia Li. So excuse my Chinese. Mei Ying taught all these powers, and so now is Mehaffy again just running into a brick wall here, or?
Yeah, it would seem to be. I mean, otherwise, what are you doing with Boa? He's supposed, maybe he still doesn't have full control over them yet, so maybe there's a little wiggle room there. But you would certainly think that he would go over. Otherwise, they kind of wasted that whole program of him and Xia Li being beaten, and then us waiting for Mei Ying to do anything more than stand up out of the chair. And like it's all kind of gotten scrapped or transferred or brought up. That whole storyline that could have been interesting, albeit a little bit ridiculous. It's kind of like, we don't know what to do with it, so we'll fast forward through it.
And I know not to rip off Ryan Joy here, but where the F is Mei Ying? Was she on the list of releases? Like, where the hell did she go? What are they doing with her?
Exactly. It seems like Boa went backstage one time and the throne was empty, and then next thing you know, he's sitting in it and he's got the mark on his face. It seemed to me like they were saying she's gone. And I thought maybe I just missed her name on the list. It doesn't seem like there's any plans for her to make another return, but wrestling is at its best when it surprises us. So maybe they will bring her back out of nowhere.
Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane, they defeated Inaction after a spinning kick by Jane. Mandy running her mouth post-match saying they'll take on all comers. And here comes quote-unquote War Games MVP, Cora Jade, saying she wants a shot. That hasn't been confirmed yet, but she's got Dakota Kai tonight with some personal, after War Games. There's a word I'm missing there. Sorry. The lingering. There you go. It's kind of like it's like a fart. It lingers. The lingering of War Games. Not that I want to compare either of these two to fart. My bad. Who do you got in this one?
I would think. I mean, Cora Jade's got an excuse. Dakota, we know Dakota's very good. We know she's an old hand down there, but I would think Cora's headed towards Mandy, so you got to keep her strong. So give me Cora Jade.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just don't know how she's going to do it. I think this has got Raw roll up again written all over it. I think her arm's going to be hurt. I think Dakota's going to just abuse the crap out of her shoulder.
Yeah, unless Raquel, sticks her nose in. Which
yeah, have that too. It's not below her to do that. These two, Tony D'Angelo, Andre Trace, they got into it backstage for a little heel on heel action. John Connie, what do you
got? Andre Chase, God love him, he seems just like a punching bag. So I'm assuming Mr. AO Tony D'Angelo is going to go over there.
The student section, the Chase U student section, amazing. Like this character, like this is. I didn't think they could have done anything better with Nowitzki. The varsity track and the Harvard snob and all that. Like this guy's killing it with this stupid school, gimmick and this,
His
So
Bob sweater.
it's like he's Nowitzki, and then he's got the Spirit Squad. He's got his own Spirit Squad in the stands every game, so every match.
And one of them pulled him out of the ring and saved his hide last week. So I'm assuming we're gonna, eventually from the class we're gonna get one of our next competitors out of it. So we'll wait and see who that is.
But yeah, he's a punter. Tony D. Tony D. He was in the War Games. Unless they are trying to make a quick 180 with both of these guys' characters, I think Tony D'Angelo should win this, right? Harlan makes his in-ring debut. It is a very close representation of males. I'll give you that. That poor bastard that he's got to fight. So that's going to be fun to see. And then Braun Breaker came out. He wants another shot at Tommaso Ciampa. That's my Steiner impersonation. But they were interrupted by Diamond Mine. And are the balls on Diamond Mine here? The balls on Roddy Strong. He wants some of Breaker. So I guess I was wrong last week saying that the Cruiserweight Championship was going back to its 205 weight limit. Apparently it's not. And Braun Breaker is going to challenge for the Cruiserweight Championship. John Nicani, you had a theory about this because Diamond Mine had an altercation with Carmelo Hayes at the end of the show outside.
Yeah, it seems like they're turning this from the cruiserweight into the openweight kind of championship, and assuming that he gets past Breaker, whether it be from help of Diamond Mine or if Ciampa comes out and sticks Breaker for whatever reason to reignite that feud. If he gets past this, I imagine he's going to eventually lock horns with Carmelo, and they're probably going to unify those titles.
Ryan Joy, minutes to bell time. He's got the belt unification, but he's thinking Braun's gonna win the cruiserweight and unify that with the thing. But then he just retracts this comment. He likes your idea better. So. Braun's outnumbered right now. So here's how I think this is gonna go down to help your theory out. So you have the Creed brothers on the outside. You have Ivy Nile on the outside. You have Hideki Matsui on the outside, or whatever Matsui, Suzuki Matsui. I'm getting my Yankees confused. I'm not trying to be wrong here. They all could just jump Braun Breaker right when Roddy gets in trouble. The match is thrown out. So I'll take Braun Breaker as by disqualification, and then and then here comes Ciampa for the save because him and Breaker are still buddies now. I still respect you, Tommaso. I want my belt. So he's. And then they just have a stare down, and that's probably how we end the show. And oh my God, they're staring each other down after you help them.
I could absolutely see that happening. Good call.
Yeah. So, John Nicani, we'll give you a break. We know you're a little late getting backstage. Maybe you're not getting situated here. Maybe go grab some groceries, say hello to some loved ones. Take a 20 there, pal, as I guess they say in the NBA world. And we will be right back with you. We're going to bring in from overseas, Gary Mehaffy, our NXT UK senior correspondent. Gary, top of the evening to you, buddy. I know you said you missed last week with a little bit of illness. How you feeling, pal?
Doing not too bad. Still hanging on a little bit in my chest, but I'm doing okay. Thankfully, much better. This time last week was not good.
Yeah, it sounded like it on Messenger. I could hear it in your typing that you were well. You want to explain why John Smith's not here, or you pleading the fifth on that one?
See, this is what happens. All these lucky charms cracks, but what happens, you see, when he has the goes of Jordan Devlin, we all know what happens when you know a leprechaun and it comes back and gets you. And I'd like to say I hope he feels better. I mean, I'd like to. I won't, but I'd like to. But
yeah.
So what can I say?
Okay, so Ryan and I had the conversation last week, and I'm sure you and Ryan have talked about this at length, as me and you have talked about this from length for a long time now, the eventual heel turn of Trent Seven. And it looks like we're going to have to wait just a little bit longer. How was the match, Gary? What'd you think?
I thought it was great. As I was saying, that I've said the whole way along, I've said for a few months, like I was never Pretty Deadly's biggest fan in the slightest. I really wasn't. But they have so many good matches. I've come around to them, and
they have so much great wardrobe too. What the hell were they wearing on Thursday? That was incredible.
And I could imagine them going into the shops and seeing something and laughing and going, "Oh, we'll have that one."
Yeah, exactly. Do you have it in annoying bright yellow?
Yeah, yeah. But no, I mean it was a great match, and I still do think that it's coming. And I noticed that Tyler Bate and Trent Seven are going to address the NXT UK universe this Thursday night, and so I still do think it's going to come, and the heel turn when they eventually lose the title will come, and it'll be like the slowest turn in creation. But it was a great match with like a really good finish. I couldn't fault either team. I mean, the entire episode last week was back to being amazing again, but just that episode to finish it off and the story that it told when they came through to take the win was great. So although I did think the heel turn was coming in that match, I was really pleased to see them win as well.
Yeah, you felt it in the beginning because Trent's like, this was my last shot. He was legit worried. And then when the music hit, Tyler kind of took off, and you see Trent's like,
yeah,
all right, like, let's go. Like, this is it, because he's been trying everything to get a championship, and it just hasn't happened. Yeah, so they become the 5th ever tag team champions. They join, obviously, Pretty Deadly, who beat Gallus, who beat Andrews and Webster, and then Grizzled Young Veterans. So they are now the 5th ever tag team champions. That history is piling up some great tag teams. Minister Belltime, what do you think? Pretty Deadly coming back stateside.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Ryan and I were talking in pre-production, and we're saying that like Pretty Deadly are a lot bigger guys than you actually think, and they do have good matches. They have the good gimmick. You could see. I think if Hunter was doing it, they would definitely have a chance. I think that Vince might give them a go just to see what he thinks, because they are young enough as well. So it'll be interesting to see. But they could conceivably go across stateside, definitely.
They're gonna be the male version of the Iconics. Like they're gonna be absolutely, when they come over, they're just gonna be so annoying and obnoxious. They're gonna be awesome. They're gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I think they won't get lost in the shovel if that actually ends up happening.
Yeah, definitely.
Jordan Devlin came out in ring promo, point blank. It's time for him to take the NXT UK Championship. Dragunov came out. He agreed to it. They don't, they've been talking. They were gabbing back and forth. So to steal Ryan Joy's gimmick, no date announced yet, but they're eventually going to get at it. Speaking of the NXT UK title, Gary, and speaking of Ryan Joy, if you just give me 2 seconds here, I'm going to bring in Ryan Joy real quick. Ryan, you have a question for Gary that you want to ask?
Okay. Yeah, Gary, where the F is Walter?
He's with Jenny. He's shopping around Knightsbridge at the minute for outfits for Jenny. He hasn't got time to wrestle.
It is fun though, because we talked about this when Dragunov won the title, is that he's a much smaller guy, so he can wrestle all types of people on the roster, and it's more believable than when Walter was champion. He had a match with Devlin, but this is a lot more competitive. I'm more excited about this Jordan Devlin Dragunov match.
Yeah. And I think it appears to have come out of nowhere, obviously, with Rampage Brown, who does appear to have been legitimately injured. And it's almost like, what will we do? Do you know what we'll do? And all of a sudden, when they did that promo, everybody just watched the promo and went, oh, I want to see this match now. Yeah. I mean, it was great. It really was. It was going along lovely. And just as soon as, like, you could see Dragunov going, say what you want, it doesn't matter. And then as soon as Devlin just brought up his child, it was like, right, boom. It was great.
All right, Brian, thanks for chiming in, buddy. We'll see you in a little bit. I can only steal so many gimmicks. I think this is kind of Ryan and yours thing, so we'll let you keep that going. You just had a medical update on Rampage Brown. What they said on air that he's not talking to anybody, so who knows? You're saying it seemed legit, so
yeah, it seems. I mean, it seems to be as far as I'm aware where it is, but.
All right, Blair Davenport, huge match with Amelia McKenzie. We've been kind of waiting for this, Scare. I've been waiting for this because this is the bridge. One of these two, if not both of them, are going to eventually fight Miko. One's going to take it, you'd think. So this was a huge match in the women's division, not to mention just the hatred, between the two personally, storyline-wise. I had Amelia thinking she was going to get the first crack at Mako, and...
I mean, I still I said from the time when Blair Davenport came in they should have just, although shot her to the moon straight away, had her go over Mako and make a big stand. Now, what would I know? That's why I don't book. That's why I sit here, and that's why Sean and Hunter book what they do. But like I still do think that Blair Davenport, pardon me, when it comes round, will be the one to take it from her. And I still do think that down the line that Amelia McKenzie again will be another long-term turn to go on Mako eventually and have the student against the master type of thing. But
Zaya Brookside was bombarded by the media during her workout sessions with her friends, completely embarrassing her. She only had 1 week to prepare for Miko. That wasn't enough time. This wasn't fair, Gary. Dad is going to hear about this. Sid Scala is going to be in trouble.
I have to say, I didn't think at the start they could ever make me think that Zaya Brookside could be a good heel. And about 3 weeks in, I went, this is great. Like, it's just, I love it. And I'm waiting on the week that Robbie Brookside appears. Like, he's bound to come on at some point via Zoom or something. Like, Robbie's bound to appear at some point.
I think he's going to be against her, too. I think
go
with the character. Yeah, like, he's not going to sign her. Sam Gradwell defeated Shaw Samuels after whipping Shaw in the nuts with a scarf, followed by the Cradle Shock Slam. So, Cradle Shock Slam. So, very creative win from Sam Gradwell. We got a no date yet match still. Kenny Williams, Mark Andrews. I believe there was a promo from each of them talking trash to the other. And speaking of Shaw Samuels, before his match with Sam, Noam Dar and him decided to celebrate in front of Sid Scala because that's what Noam does. Scala mentioned to Noam that there's going to be a number one contenders match, a Heritage Cup rules match. The winner's got to get a championship match, and we got A-Kid and Nathan Frazier. This I like. We got two baby faces. We got a former champion. We got a guy that we've been waiting for so freaking long to take off and get off the damn ground. I think it has to be his time now, Gary. I think Nathan Frazier has to win this match.
I want it to be, but I just don't see that he does. Which means I'm probably wrong, because when it comes to these sort of matches, I do it all the time. But I still think that it'll be A-Kid is going to take it because they're more behind him at the minute, and that again you'll maybe get a more, I'm not saying a Daniel Bryan version of Nathan Frazier, but that he'll get more frustrated and more annoyed, and then you'll see sort of the heavy hitting, more aggressive side of him come out.
Okay. I think it's just time for Nathan Frazier. I spy a Jersey guy. Let's go. I would love to see Nathan Frazier and Noam Dar. I know they've had matches. Noam's had matches with both these guys already, so it's going to be nothing new, but it's going to be something more great than it already was. Like this, to me, these guys just don't know what a bad match is. So, real quick about Mustache Mountain, they became the first ever. I think they're the first tag team to win both belts, both NXT titles. I think because Grizzly Young Gators hasn't done it yet. The only team that's been overseas for both of them. Imperium hasn't done it yet. So congratulations, Mustache Mountain, first team in NXT history to be stateside and UK champions, and that's
totally. I mean, and I really do wish. I mean, I've seen them work live a few times, and they are great when they're live. I really wish, as good as Trent Seven is, I really wish Tyler Bate was given a chance. I know he is still young as well. He's a lot younger than people realize. But I think I'd love to see him go stateside and just get given a chance, because I think he would just get over big time.
Well, he was like 15 when he won the UK Championship tournament, right? Like he's only 20 something. He's probably like 23, right? 23, 20. Like he's still.
Yeah.
Gary, real quick before we let you go, winter is coming tomorrow night. We have a huge AEW Championship match. You are in the EWP pool, obviously. Any thoughts? Hangman Page, Daniel Bryanson did it again. Bryan Danielson.
I've gone. I was looking through there, and I was doing my picks. I've gone for Hangman Page. I do think. I mean, from the very start, when Danielson came in, I thought they would have had him go against Kenny and maybe beat him, and then have Hangman beat him. But I know the story. It was Hangman and Kenny. Yeah. But I do just think that they're going to want I think they need to give a little bit more prominence to Hangman because he's kind of been, I'm not say lost in the shuffle a wee bit since he became champion, but there's other people have been with the MJF and stuff like that. There's been more stuff with, so I think that this will be the match for him to really stand up and go, I'm the man, I told you I'm here, watch, and then he'll win and he'll take it. So I'm going for Hangman Page in an absolutely quality match.
Now, we've had discussion before. I'm not going to say this is my pick. I'm not going to say this is not my pick. This crossed my mind. I can make the same argument about Adam Page as I did with Ilya Dragunov. Adam Page did the impossible. He won. He beat Kenny Omega. He beat the end-all, be-all. All right, sent Kenny off TV. Where's the F is Kenny Omega? How about that question? He's going to be known as the guy who beats Kenny Omega, and he's going to be known as a former world champion. He can lose this and not lose any steam. And now we're back to Hangman chasing again, and I think that fans really took to that, And then you got Bryan Danielson, who's being a superstar right now, and it's absolutely hysterical.
Yeah.
And it's so.
I do almost think. I mean, I would agree with you because I do think, as far as Hangman goes, that there's more scope in him chasing than there is with him with the belt. I do think he is the sort of one that the fans would constantly be clamoring behind. So I think if you had a really obnoxious, as you say, superstar heel and Danielson to take it off him for the fans to go, no, we want him, and then let him chase again. So that possibility's there, but I'm still sticking with Page. So.
Yeah, no, it can go either way. This is one of the few matches in AEW. It's 50-50. You just don't know. Normally, you can see this kind of stuff coming a mile away. But all right, Gary, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. We're glad you're back on air. Glad to see you feeling better, and we will see you next week, my friend.
See you then. Have a good one.
And with that, going to bring back in John DeConnie. John DeConnie, how are things? Everything good to go? We ready to go proceed forward?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. We are ready to layeth the smacketh down on your Rudy Poo candy ass. Any thoughts on when Rocky's coming back, speaking of all that?
He didn't make an appearance for his 25th anniversary there. So at this point, I just don't know.
All right. Xavier Woods got a new crown last Friday. His crown was recently destroyed by Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. It's pretty badass. I didn't realize, I don't know if you saw the huge X on the crown. I didn't realize he was the 10th king of the ring of all time. I thought there was more than that.
If you say so, I assumed it stood for Xavier, but
I thought it was a Roman numeral. Okay, gotcha. So, completely taking a crap on the Survivor Series and the Champions versus Champions matches, they decided to run it one more time, bring RK Bro over from Raw, throw him in the ring with the Usos, who RK Bro just beat at the Survivor Series. Now they're going to throw the New Day in the mix and say the winners are the best tag team in WWE.
Yeah. So we had RK Bro using the I don't know, every 6 month crossover that they decide when they can use it 100 times a year if they want to or not at all. And they got at it. They went for 20 minutes. These are three great teams, so we had a great match. And in the end, the New Day, who we already know, according to the top 50 list, are the greatest tag team of all time. They finished them off with that demolition coup de grace, on Jay. Got the backbreaker across the knee, then he got the double stomp to the chest. 1, 2, 3. And the New Day, once again, are cemented as the greatest tag team of all time.
Yeah, James Miller just brought up a great point. Bro, it was a stallion week for Riddle. He was on all three shows. How about that? I didn't even really put 2 and 2 to that together. Very nice. Kind of ironic, John, how two guys who hate each other work together to take out Sami Zayn.
It's almost as if there's a conspiracy.
I know, but it was right. It was another fun segment with two Canadian alpha males. Come hunting with me, but I'm vegan. You're what? That. It's fun. Paul Heyman, he was out there as well. kind of lit a fire under Brock, and he also said that Brock was the future Universal Champion. Roman Reigns comes back this week. Where's the graphic for it? Just to make it official. Roman Reigns is back this Friday. Normally, I don't want to say he gives Paul passes when he's not there. There's a couple times Paul said some things. We said some things backstage that maybe. How do you think he's going to react to this one, our tribal chief?
You wonder if he's going to pretend like he even saw it. Like, are the Usos going to have to stooge Heyman out here? I wonder how the whole thing's going to be handled. Clearly, he's not going to be happy, but Paul Heyman of Silver Tongue will probably talk his way out of it anyway. I was just trying to do this. I was trying to get him to be physical with Sammy and blah, 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 soften him up for your shot at day one. Who knows? Canadian.
Yeah, I guess, but it's another side. Yes, okay. But again, Brock Lesnar is funny. Like Brock Lesnar is just not this big meathead who can't talk. Like it was just a heel cat. Maybe he can only talk. But no, I shouldn't say that because he was a heel when he was fighting Goldberg when he stole Austin's quad way back in 2004. And he was hysterical. He's just. I think just he gets more heat with Heyman. So does Roman. I guess Heyman's just a heat magnet. I guess.
Exactly.
Tony Storm defeated Charlotte Flair via disqualification after Charlotte repeatedly kicked Tony's head into the ring post. Look for that match to continue. Look for that feud to continue and go on to day one. Drew McIntyre defeated Sheamus after a bro kick in another hard-hitting affair. This is turning into Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy, John DeCon. It seems like we're getting this once a month, and they even both got drafted to the other show, just like Buddy and Aleister did. We got it for one more time there before the bleep hit the fan with those two. So, any Carly, maybe next month, do we do it again? Like, are you getting sick of this yet? Because they're kicking the crap out of each other. It's entertaining as hell.
Exactly. There aren't a lot of great big men, but the reason you love a big man is for exactly what we see when these two get in the ring together. There was absolutely no storyline there. The storyline was what? Sheamus was the one who broke the news to him that he wasn't in the Battle Royal the week before. It was just, hey, you two go out there and beat the living hell out of each other. And we're going to eat it up.
That's what it was, because McIntyre still butthurt he was left out of it. Pierce and Sonya blamed each other. And then the fun part is, we know where we're going with McIntyre, because he had to leave the sword backstage and decided to stick it in Pierce's desk, but then Corbin and Moss stole the desk with the sword in it. So Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss are now in possession of Angela. Angela. And then here comes Tony Danza.
I thought he's down at NXT.
What's that? I'm sorry, what was that?
I thought he was down at NXT. Never mind, that's D'Angelo.
So Tony is D'Angelo. Yeah, exactly. Like faction that. Mona. They gotta give him somebody named Mona as his ringside thing. So they can say that. Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs, they defeated Los Lotharios after Nakamura hit a standing Kinshasa on Humberto. Big win for the Intercontinental Champion. Got a funny feeling though. It's just the next time he defends that title, he's losing it. Like, when was the last time he had a meaningful? This is fun. He's running around with Boogs, but this hasn't been a historic Intercontinental title reign for Shinsuke.
Not by any stretch of the imagination.
Naomi and Sonya Deville never happened due to Naomi, unprovokingly, might I add, attacked the timekeeper, so the bell never rang. Potential 3-on-1 attack thwarted by the Great Protector, who we said where she was debuting, thought maybe it would be in a match, but she was protecting Naomi. So now there's a 3-on-2 somewhat situation, because I said she attacked them as a 3-on-1. The timekeeper, excuse me, how about there's a woman after your own heart? She had to stop watching everything, huh, John DeConnie? Did you appreciate what Shayna Baszler had to do?
Absolutely. Hammer in one hand, stop watching the other.
There you go.
She knows what's up.
That's it. And Natalia, she was outside. She was guest something or other. I forget what it was. But yeah, so look for the feud to keep going with that. I believe you mentioned last week maybe a cage at some point with these two to keep all the riffraff out, like Natalia, Sonya Deville, Xia Li.
Yeah, it's at some point Sonya's got to say, "All right, enough of the crap. I can't hide behind this one, that one, or the other one anymore." Like I got really excited. She was in her ring gear. I thought we were actually going to get a match, but at some point it's got to happen. We need Sonya back on that women's roster.
All right, what's James? I love this. Where this is going. Naomi Sana adding Xia Li to the mix. Her entrance was cool. Yeah. I think though, maybe I been paying too much attention to Kenny Omega's run-ins in the past and Humberto Carrillo's lackadaisical help of friends in the past that we've made fun of. Someone's getting attacked 3-on-1, and you're supposed to be the great protector, the superhero that's coming down, and you're doing moves. Instead of being on a full-out sprint to try to go help.
Yeah, your 2-minute entrance isn't really doing your ward any help.
Yeah, exactly. Like they could have been beating the crap out of Naomi the entire time. She's in the I can't even get the kick on there. She's in the entranceway doing kicks and spins. So.
Mystical ninja stuff.
Yeah, but whatever. Yeah, it was a cool entrance. She's good for her. I like Xia Li. I hope she succeeds on the main roster where others have failed. So let's just keep going. About last night, John DeConnie. The show started with Bobby Lashley, MVP. Bobby felt disrespected that he was not in the title championship picture. So he made it aware that he was upset by that. And everyone came out, all the participants from day one, including Big E, Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens. But it also included Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. And Adam Pearce declared that if Bobby wants in, he's got to beat all 3 competitors in one-on-one matches. So now the story is set for the rest of the night. We're getting Bobby Lashley shoved down our throats.
That's quite all right. The man's a beast, and you knew you were going to get entertainment out of every segment. So
yes, I know, but it's almost it's like there was an old Saturday Night Live skit when Tom Brady was. The reason why I know this and I watched this episode of Saturday Night Live because Tom Brady was the guest host. There was a small skit where it's not sexual harassment if you're good looking, and like Tom Brady was walking around in his underwear, nobody gave a crap. But then some ugly guy did it, and everyone was calling HR on, right? So, yeah, it's not getting shoved down your throat if you like the guy. Even though it's the same thing every week, whether it was Drew McIntyre, John Cena, Steve Austin, whoever, Triple H, whoever. It's just, we like Bobby. We like AJ Styles. Oh, he's just shoving that out there.
Yeah, you tell me I'm getting 3 segments with Happy Corbin, and I'm probably changing the channel. You tell me I'm getting 3 segments with Bobby Lashley.
I'm not, though. That'd be hysterical. Anyway, I digress. Bobby Lashley is going for to make himself in the championship match.
Yeah, so he faced KO first because KO was the last one added to the triple threat. And KO, God love him, he wasn't taking any extra damage. Well, he's not insane. He tapped out before Bobby even completely sunk in the hurt lock and he got out of there. Let the other 2 worry about it.
Canadian alpha male.
Exactly. Come on. So then fast forward to the middle of the show, and we get Seth Rollins. He's up next. And KO's a genius. KO comes out and attacks Rollins. Well, after, a little bit of fighting with Bobby, and Rollins is on the outside recuperating. And KO comes down and just punches him in the back of the head. Beautiful. It's DQ. Bobby lost.
I was wondering if they were going to do that. I'm sitting there, I'm like, why don't they just get themselves disqualified and so he's out of it?
There we go. But out comes Postman Pearce and Sonya again, being the bold buzzkills, and they say, not only are we restarting this one, but any further if Bobby makes it through this one, any further match he has tonight will be fought under no DQ. So we restart that match with Rollins. And they, might as well not have even rang the bell because Rollins turned around, got speared in half, and within 7 seconds, 3 of them being the 1, 2, 3 count, he had lost to Bobby Lashley. So now Lashley is moving on to the main event where he's going to fight.
Real quick, I'm looking at the ticker. It's actually coming up right now. No disqualification. I combined the times because the match was just restarted. So I believe the second match was 9 seconds. So I believe the first match was 2:20. But yeah, so anyway, I was in the argument with Ryan about WrestleMania 36 that the Kevin Owens Seth Rollins match was restarted or was 2 separate matches. It was restarted.
I love that. I love that argument every time it comes up. So fast forward to the main event. We've got Bobby and the champ Big E in a no DQ non-title match. Bobby's trying to win his way into and make it a fatal 4-way at day one. And these two go for a good long time. And everything is, it's back and forth. It's just two guys. It's one-on-one. It's no problems, no issues. And then around the 16-minute mark, KO and Rollins say, all right, enough of this. They just jump in, start beating on Bobby. Big E pairs off with Owens. They wind up outside. Owens eats a Uranagi through a table. Lashley spears Rollins through another table set up in the corner. And then MVP says, well, that's right, it's no DQ. What am I doing here? And he gives Big E the old Goldberg treatment, whacks him on the knee with his cane, although Big E remembered to sell it without pausing for about 8 seconds first. Lashley hits the spear, 1, 2, 3. He gets the win over the WWE champion and thereby gets added to the triple threat, which is now a fatal 4-way at day one.
But that's if Big E is medically cleared. Now, the last time MVP struck somebody with a cane, Goldberg needed knee surgery and was out for 3 months.
That's a good point.
That's the version that came to my mind. I'm like, oh my God, Big E's out of the match. I think we might have a vacant title going into day one. But yeah, I forgot Goldberg didn't sell it right away. Little foreshadowing here, John DeConnie. I spied. Has nothing to do with New Jersey this time, but I spied some foreshadowing. It just so happened that before Bobby Lashley's match with Kevin Owens, they decided to show Gable Steveson in the crowd for the first time since being drafted by Monday Night Raw, and he was biting the metal. Yeah, it's real gold metal. It's not no chocolate wrapped in tinfoil. It was real. Is it a coincidence that they showed him before one of Bobby's matches? Is this going to be WrestleMania, John DeConnie?
Ooh, I like what you're thinking there. I mean, I guess if he debuts, let's say in the Rumble or thereabouts,
Throws out Lashley.
I could see it. I like it.
It's what they call a slow burn. Slow burn, stretch it out.
Yeah, well, I sure would like to see the guy first,
Well, exactly. Well, here, yeah, that's the thing. They have been seeing him. They have, So let's leave it at. We'll trust them on this one. It's not like Steven's at home washing his tights here, like Kenny Omega and Brian Cage and Walter. I think that's where they're going with it. I don't think that was a coincidence. I think they want to see Gable Steveson and Bobby Lashley and subconsciously, just like I did.
I like it.
Speaking of WrestleMania season, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Miz TV, where the Miz endorsed himself to be inducted into the next class of the WWE Hall of Fame, in which we all here at the Essential Wrestling Podcast also send our endorsements. Or maybe it's just me, and not that he needs them.
No,
Edge came out to spoil the party and talk trash to the point where Miz and Maurice both threw their champagne in his eyes and gave us the foreshadowing of the Maurice distraction at day one into the skull-crushing finale for the victory. Now, John DeConnie, this is where you bring up, Miz pulled Maurice in front of him, though. Maurice, she's got 2 kids at home.
Yeah, and she was none too happy with hubby.
No, 5 across the eyes.
Yes, indeed. Now, is that all a gimmick?
Acting. Whether every married couple has their problems, that's fine, and I'm sure Miz and Maurice too, but they will never have an on-screen problem. This is the perfect setup for a distraction by Maurice into the skull-crushing finale. A win for Miz at day one, leading to another mixed tag match at WrestleMania with Miz and Maurice.
Yeah.
Hopefully winning this time over 2 Hall of Famers. It's going to be a tall order. Well, if Miz is in the Hall of Fame, there's going to be 3 Hall of Famers in the ring at the same time. I believe Miz will be the first one or the second one. Now, Ric Flair did in-ring competition after he got inducted the same night. But I don't think anyone's been inducted as they were wrestling, at least not in WWE. You know, Impact, they do it all the time.
Usually that's a guarantee. You're getting inducted, you're going to be in the main event.
So that Becky Lynch came out gloating that she won the week prior, killing the fans for not liking her. Liv Morgan came out wanting a rematch because Becky hooked the bottom ropes the week before. Fun turnaround by Becky. Like, you're not ready. You should have been preparing for me to cheat. It's your fault. And she's right. They fought, and Becky caught Liv's arms in between the steps and the ring post, did some damage, and now the rematch has been granted with the disarmer set up, ready to do the final nail in the coffin of Liv Morgan, or so we're supposed to think. Otis defeated Riddle with the pop-up World's Strongest Slam. How about that? Big win by the big man, and now with Mandy Rose as NXT Women's Champion. These two have to be one of the biggest, let's say, up there conversation as one of the power couples of WWE at the moment, right?
I can't believe Otis has not made an appearance now at NXT. I mean, the story just writes itself. Come on.
Why isn't she coming? They could be on both shows. Like, they could be like the biggest, I would say the it couple, because that gimmick's already taken. But like, interesting backstage. I'm going to book WrestleMania match number 3 right now. Interesting backstage conversation and interview with the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, who ended the interview with, you know what? Omos is a good kid. I genuinely hope he has success. He succeeds or whatever. That doesn't sound like a heel, John Nicani. I think between last week's being Omos, you got to listen to me. You should normally a heel slaps the guy right there, but obviously AJ, bigger guy. I thought he was just being smart. Is Omos going to be the heel in this whole turn?
At the end of that segment, Omos kind of showed up and went, you're right. I'm not ready to give up on this team either. And they kind of, they left arm in arm. So it's a coin flip. Either one of them works.
Yeah, but we all thought Omos, we all thought Styles is going to accidentally hit him, or Styles is going to slap him in the face after Omos does something stupid like he didn't do last week. But it's one of those things we thought Omos would be like, it would be a face turn, and then he would kick the crap out of AJ. But it looks like now they're both going towards the face route, and then when Omos turns, he's going to turn heel. We almost got this backwards, and like they're setting it up. You can do the slow burn up until this is going to be WrestleMania. Yeah, AJ Styles and Omos.
Yep, I believe you are correct. That's where we're headed. Who plays what part, still to be determined. But yeah, like you said, at this point, it literally could go either way. So it's just a matter of what they find more compelling as we go along.
Yeah. Bianca Belair defeated Doudrop. That was a rematch from last week. Doudrop walked away by a count out, but Bianca, the rematch, Bianca won with the 450 splash. Special shout out to the future Mrs. Leon Ruff, who refereed that match. It's been a couple times now. I've noticed she's been working on the main roster along with NXT. She was the fast count referee in the Sonya Deville when Naomi lost. It wasn't Sonya fighting Naomi, but somebody beat, I think it might have been Shayna. I don't know. But it was Mrs. Ruff, the future Mrs. Ruff did the fast 3 count. So she's getting some work in. She was doing, what's the other females? Jessica Carr. She's been pulling some Jessica Carr duty, pulling all 3 brands here. So shout out to Mrs. Leon Ruff. Go for it. Again, I spotted it last week, John Nicani. There's a trend starting. Our beloved queen is starting a trend. She won again. How do you feel about this whole new thing? The women's tag team champions actually winning matches.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hell of a concept. It's a nice turnaround for Zelina, who couldn't win after her return. What did she went 0 for what, the summer before she won the first ever Queen's Crown. Now she's a tag team champion. She's winning individual and tag team matches. I mean, this is new ground we're breaking here. I love it.
All right, going back to James Wheeler, he's saying that they filed a trademark for Piper Niven. And I thought they already had it.
You would think so, yeah.
Yeah. And he's not happy with the tag team championship. So, speaking of which, something I forgot to mention last week, and I'll bring it up right now. Zelina Vega, now the third woman in pro wrestling history, now joins the Iconics, the Inspiration. Zelina's now won both sets of tag team championships. She was with Sarita. She was Sarita, and she was with somebody. She's been an Impact Knockout Tag Team Champion,
Right.
long time ago. So now she joins Cassie Lee and Jessie K.
Good for you for remembering that, because I'll never. It's going to take me another 6 to 8 months to get that down.
Yeah, well, the thing was, when I was looking at when they brought back the Knockouts tag titles, and I was looking up to see who the last ever tag champs were, which was Brooke Hogan and Eric Young, which I, for 450 days, just laughed my ass off about that whole thing. I was just looking at the names, just trying to see if I knew who they were, whatever. And I think her name was Sarita, or she was Sarita's partner. One of them is Zelina Vega. So
indeed.
And then the Dirty Dogs defeated the team of Damian Priest and Finn Balor after distraction by Austin Theory, leading to a zigzag by Dolph Ziggler for the win. Trivia question: I don't know. When was the last time Dolph Ziggler won a match with a zigzag?
God only knows. That's one of those moves that almost never looks the same 2 times in a row. So. So sometimes I forget what the hell it's even called. It's got to be the worst finisher in the Fed.
Yeah, maybe. That's I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. But yeah, it's not a finisher anymore. It's been doing the crescent kick, the sweet chin music. So, going from Monday night, we're gonna go to Impact Wrestling, our favorite brand, our favorite cult following. Last week, Matt Cardona, he decided he wanted to put his spot, not a dog spot, not a liver spot, not the kind of spot that you need to call your dermatologist about, but his spot in the Impact Championship match at Hard to Kill, one of their big 4, one of their biggest pay-per-views of the year, the show where Kenny Omega became double champion last year. It's a huge event. His spot on the line against W. Morrissey.
Yeah, Morrissey, was making thinly veiled threats earlier in the night, and Cardona said, I just don't have time for this crap. Let's just do it. Let's do it tonight. You beat me, I'll bow out. So fast forward to the main event, you get Cardona and Morrissey. Morrissey won't let Cardona out of the corner. The ref tries to pull him off. Morrissey tosses the ref halfway across the ring, and you get a DQ. So Cardona gets to stay in the match because he technically beat Morrissey. And then Morrissey turns around and boots the ref. Chelsea comes down because he's still beating on Cardona. She puts herself in the line of fire there. Moose comes down to encourage Morrissey to punish Chelsea. And Cardona loses his mind. And, Morrissey boots Moose in the face because he doesn't want to hear from him. He doesn't trust him. Doesn't matter. And Moose rolls out, leaves the belt behind, and there you go. The segment ends with Matt Cardona holding the Impact World title over his head. Matt, you've been around long enough. What the hell are you doing?
I was going to say, that match in the DQ, if Adam Pearce was running Impact, him and Sony would have came out. Nah,
restart.
No disqualification. Matt Striker threw out 2 gems last Thursday. The first one was during the mixed tag team match where Deonna Purrazzo and Matthew Raywolf defeated Mickie James and Chris Sabin. After Deonna rolled up Mickie and Raywolf grabbed Deonna's arm for leverage for the win, Matt Striker blurts out, rule number 1 in referee certification is to watch the shoulders with each strike of the mat. So that's why he didn't catch Deonna or Raywolf hooking guys, because the referee, that's the first thing they're taught. Watch the shoulders as each hand strikes.
Even if the person who's cheating from the outside literally has their arm above your head. Hey,
the referees are taught. The referees are taught to put the count. Yeah, he was doing low voice at that time. And then the second one again, and I'll leave you with the street fight. he compared Rhino and Eric Young. Now, you have to be a hockey fan, and you have to be somewhere in your 40s to remember Chris Nyland versus Bob Probert. And if you want to watch hockey, if you want to watch hockey fights as hockey fights, like what they should be, look up Bob Probert, the guy he was banned from Canada because he was so freaking violent, against Chris Nyland. Those were hockey fights, and that's what he compared these two in a street fight with.
Yeah, anytime Probert got into it, you were getting a lesson there.
They did a whole Netflix special on Bob Probert. May he rest in violence.
Nice. Oh yeah, so we had EY and Rhino in a street fight. Of course, Diener and Doring got involved, which brought Heath out, which for some reason brought Swan and Willie Mack out, because why not? And then even more questionable, the Good Brothers come out to take out Swan and
that
Willie.
one doesn't make sense. Now, Rich Swann and Eric Young, that's still going after all these years now from Slammiversary or whatever it was, back 2 years ago, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I remember the beatdown of the past couple weeks. I'm like, man, Eric Young just really hates Rich Swann. Oh my god.
But EY would set up his pile driver with a blatant low blow and bounce Rhino off of his noggin and get the 1, 2, 3. And the Good Brothers and Violent by Design kind of held the ring afterwards, and the good guys were on the outside looking befuddled.
There was a big 8-person tag. I mentioned this last week. A match I didn't know what I wanted to see until they announced it, which involved Black Taurus and Cassie Lee. We had the 4 members of Decay versus the team of the Influence and the Knockouts Tag Team Champions, the Inspiration. A lot of eyes in those names. Decay got the win after Rosemary hit the spear on Tennille for the win. The Inspiration and the Influence, they were not on the same page as I would kind of hope I wanted to get a little bit of the 4 of these women, plus Caleb, in some type of thing. It's not looking like it's meant to be. They're gonna get at it. Probably, maybe Hard to Kill. And this is a great match for Hard to Kill.
Yeah.
But this little unification of Aussie blissness is just not going to last too long.
No.
Finn Juice defeated the Learning Tree after hitting Demolition's finishing maneuver, which does not have a name. What do you think about this, John DeConnie? Gail Kim announced that Jordan Grace, Tasha Steeles, Rachel Ellering, Rosemary, Chelsea Green, and Lady Frost as the competitors for the first ever Knockouts Ultimate X #1 Contenders match.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talent in that ring, and the only thing I worry about with women's wrestling is sometimes they try to do stuff, no matter how good they are, they try to do stuff that maybe they're not necessarily strong enough to pull off. So I wonder if we're going to have any issues. You remember when Impact did the stupid domed cage where you had to escape through the little hole in the top? And it was like a 15-minute match, and the guys were too tired to hold themselves up and flip out of the cage at the end, and it was just a cluster bleep.
Because they made him climb up and then flip off it onto other guys first. Like, I forget how much. There was only one person that could really ever do it consistently, and I can't think of who it was.
But the only thing that worries me about the Ultimate X match is the longer it goes on, and the muscles start burning. Are the ladies going to be able to hand over hand walk that rope and get to the X? We'll see.
I see a lot of Twitter videos of one of these women specifically that I do believe has the endurance and the strength, and Jordan Grace is she's not the one that does this.
Yeah, that's why she's gonna, spoiler alert, she's gonna be my pick because she's the one we absolutely know has the power to make it happen.
Yeah. Chelsea Green might be too. I can't see Rosemary getting up there to begin with. Let's see, like I said, they wouldn't put these women in this spot if they didn't know they can do it. These women are all. It's not like throwing Cora Jade and Gigi Dolan in War Games and hoping, like I feel like these are, other than Lady Frost, who I believe is a time-tested veteran. Even though Lady Frost is new to Impact, she's been around. I've heard the name, so. Let's just hope it has it. So matches coming up next Thursday on Impact. They had a brief altercation backstage where Laredo Kid, I believe, was cursing, yelling obscenities at Chris Bay in Spanish. I believe calling out his mother on several occasions, if I do remember correctly. Who do you got in this match?
Give me Bay, because he'll have Hikuleo at the very least at ringside to help him out there. So it'll be a Bay day.
It is Thursday. By the way, I did forget. I didn't have it in my notes just because we talked about it last week. RK Bronham and Mysterios and the Street Profits, they will be fighting on Monday Night Raw. I think you had the Mysterios, I had the Street. I don't remember. Just last week episode 83, which I consistently called episode 84 the entire show. I watched the replay. A-hole. So we'll just delete that one because we talked about it already. There was an injury, right? Somebody was injured, which is why they had to postpone it. That's what I believe I saw on Twitter.
You know what? I didn't even hear. I was expecting it the whole night, and then went, "Oh, okay, they're not doing it. All right, fine."
No, they announced it earlier in the day that somebody was injured, and they had to postpone it to this week. Rohit Raju and Lawrence D, probably one of the biggest matches in Impact history, to be honest with you, got thrown out because Josh Alexander came out and wrecked everyone looking for Jonah. Scott granted Josh Alexander versus Jonah at Hard to Kill. But I guess Rohit Raju, he's still a little butthurt about the ass whooping he took by the hands of Josh Alexander at the beginning of that, so they're going to get at it. You getting into Rohit a shot here?
I mean, come on, Rohit's always got a shot. I think it's probably. I think unless Jonah comes out and gets involved, it's probably going to be Josh Alexander going over, though, in this particular case.
Yeah, I'm going to have to stick with Josh on this one, too. And there was an X Division Championship match I actually just found out about. I know Trey Miguel, he's been kind of doing his open challenge thing. He's going to take on John Skyler on Thursday night.
Very nice. Let me have Trey defending there. Skyler, obviously they're bringing him along. He's going to be I guess mainstay there, but still, it's Trey. I think when it comes time for Trey to pass it on, I think we know where it's going to happen. I think we know who it's going to happen with, and it's not John Skyler.
Yeah, it's that's who Trey wants. He's like, I haven't beat, or Steve, that's what Steve Macklin keeps saying. He's like, he hasn't beaten me. Put me in all these freaking multi-man matches. He's never beat me.
Yep, no one has. He hasn't been pinned or submitted.
No.
And yet he's lost like 6 matches.
Yeah, right. Jersey's strong. There you go. He's lost like 6 matches. So here's the fun part, John Connie. We actually have an Impact Plus show on Saturday night called Throwback Throwdown 2. Here are the Impact standings going into this show. You have a 4-point lead over myself and Ryan Joy, who have about a 10-point lead over John Smith, who's right above track. This is a nice little train wreck here. With standings here, with the exception of Tyler, who really just doesn't chime in with Impact as much as he wants to. Apparently, I'm going to find out he doesn't do that with football either, bastard. Scoring for this 5 points. I guess it should be if it's an IPWF championship match. There should be a 5-point match. All the titles 3 points. Here's the fun: if you get everything right, 5 points. They haven't announced anything. And to tell you the truth, if you look at the show from 2 years ago, they're not these characters. It's the Impact characters playing more characters.
Yeah.
So with that, John the Colony, we're gonna pick one match and one match only, just because I had this wild dream in my head. Last we saw 2 years ago, it was Downtown Daddy Brown who won the IPWF championship in the main event. I want to see Downtown Daddy Brown versus Sex Ferguson.
Ooh.
That would be a huge championship match for the ages.
Yeah, and I mean, the subtitle is Winter War '84, so we're going old school here.
This might be the best production. This might be up there with Wrestle House and Wrestle Court. And like this is going to be borderline absurd, and it's going to be absolutely incredible. And I have to watch it on delay because I'm sorry. It's just damn. But if they somehow name characters and matches, I'll get them on ProWrestlingPick'em.com for us to pick. But right now we have more matches for next Thursday's Impact leading into Hard to Kill than we have more matches for Hard to Kill than we do for this show. So
Yeah.
Who knows? So we are going to bring back in Ryan Joy. Oh, we'll do the great background. How about that? Ryan Joy from MinutesToBellTime.com and our senior AEW correspondent, Ryan Joy. We'll do the yellow logo. How about that? Give him the background. Everything's going. We saw you for a little bit. Where the F is Brian Cage?
Where the F is Brian Cage? Still under contract.
Yeah.
But I've seen him in Florida more recently for CCW.
Yeah, I've seen Nelio post more Brian Cage matches than Tony Khan has.
That's true. We got Hook now, though, so we'll get there.
And that will be the first item on our agenda from Friday Night Rampage, as they say in Montreal. The debut of Hook. Now, we'll talk about it in a little bit. We're doing these shows backwards here. Team Taz, specifically Taz himself, not happy that Dante Martin swerved them in the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. So Taz has had it up to here, which isn't that high in his case. And he unleashed Hook on us. He's like, screw it, I'm unleashing Hook. And poor Fuego del Sol was the poor bastard that had to take the brunt of it. But so we had Hook's debut. The internet went gaga with it. Brian Joy, as you used to tell us, as you used to ask us, what say you?
Well, first of all, when you were referring, he's up to here. My Twitter stream was blowing up. Everybody was saying Happy Hook Day because all the wrestlers, everybody was very excited for Hook's debut. I thought he looked fine. It was a simple match with Fuego. He played the hits. He and ended with a cool submission. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of Taz's moves in there, right? So
I saw the sleeper suplex. He didn't do the T-bone. I was looking for a T-bone.
He does have I think Taz called it a crotch suplex or something that he did do, which was pretty fun. But
he did have the one. Yeah, he did have. What did he? No, that was a submission. It was the Kata-Hatch-Ame submission, according to my notes. I can show you how I spelled that so we can all say it out loud here. Kata-Hatch-Ame.
Kata-Hatch-Ame. Okay.
Yep.
I thought it was fine. And he beat Fuego, and they're probably going to keep him away from anybody that's competitive for a while, and I think that's probably smart. He probably won't work very long matches. This one went 3.5 minutes, and I don't know that there was a lot of range to go further. So it's good. He's all that in a bag of chips.
Oh, yeah, right. Finally found our display names. That took me about 10 minutes. So if it looked like I wasn't paying attention, I was, but I couldn't find that. I don't have the graphic. Sorry, Joe. Don't have the graphic for this one. Late minute entry. All that in a bag of chips. Huh? That's Taz threw that out there a couple times at the past couple days. Yeah, but Ryan also on a grander scale. I'm sorry, what was that?
Because he always has a bag of chips.
Oh, really? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize Taz had a chip gimmick. With that on Rampage, we had a AEW Tag Team Championship match, which was kind of been a couple weeks in the making here. Not talking with the feud. Obviously, this feud. And one thing I like about AEW is you don't get the same matches over and over again. These guys have fought probably about 8 times. Every single one of them have been 5 stars. But I'm talking about the past couple weeks. I think one of them, it was Ray Phoenix, was injured. So this got delayed a couple weeks, right?
Yeah, this was supposed to be on Rampage 2 weeks ago. Ray Phoenix, they reported an injury. He actually had travel issues and stuff, but it was supposed to be 2 weeks. What?
Was it Chavo again? Is Chavo back?
It was not Chavo. It was travel issues, not Chavo issues.
No, but Chavo did this to him last time, right? Remember Chavo delayed their flights a couple of times? Yeah, this is cool with Chavo. Chavo's back.
That's right. Chavo, rerouted his airplane ticket or whatever. Yep. That didn't happen this time, I don't believe. So because Ray Phoenix was able to wrestle FTR the next night, Saturday night in Mexico. But talking about this match, Lucha Bros and FTR, it had kind of a big fight feel. They the show started, they were already in the ring, in-ring introductions, camera shots were really tight on the ring, and they had a good match, but in the end, Lucha Bros got the win using Fear Factor. There were a couple different spots, with the title belt, the AAA title belt, Cash bringing it into the ring, inadvertently hitting Dax. So good match though.
Yeah, they don't know how to put on, I'll make jokes that they fed up, whatever, but you don't complain about this. I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh man, these four again. Like, no, like this is probably arguably the two best teams that they have. Like, I'll throw these two. I'll say they're better than the Bucks. I don't have a problem with that.
It does look like we might be moving on from this feud though, because I think FTR kind of mixed it up with Darby and Sting later in the night.
That was exactly my next note. Giovanni backstage with Sting and Darby talking about how Sting gets to return to the Greensboro Coliseum for the first time since 1973 or whatever year it was. And then they got jumped by FTR. So there you go. So we're probably going to get that at the Greensboro Coliseum. I don't know if this was a personal attack. Maybe it was. I'm sure Tully. This is an old WCW NWA thing with Tully and Sting. Maybe Tully instructed them to do it, or maybe FTR was just pissed off after their loss. These are the first two guys that they found.
Well, FTR, they're big North Carolina guys themselves. So this is kind of an interesting thing where Sting has all his roots there from his the major run of his career. You got Tully Blanchard involved in there, and you got FTR who are north from Asheville. So
Greensboro's in North Carolina. I was in West Carolina.
There is no place as such as West Carolina.
Adam Cole defeated Wheeler Yuta after a boom kick post-match attack on the Best Friends. Again, as we'll talk about on Dynamite, this will be after this match will be the second time Orange Cassidy takes the brunt of a super elite attack. And then in six women action, Nyla Rose, the Bunny, and Penelope Ford defeated Ruby Soho and TJ after a beast bomb from Nyla Rose on Anna Jay. So Nyla is building some momentum going into her semifinal match with Ruby Soho in the TBS Championship Tournament. Rewinding from Rampage to AEW Dynamite from this past Wednesday, CM Punk taking shots at the Islanders. And unfortunately, rightly so. He was dead accurate with everything that he said. He mentioned it took a couple of games for it to happen. I believe it was 7 of them. But CM Punk didn't motivate. The video went around UBS Arena. Heard there was a guy talking bleep last night. Yeah, CM Punk talking bleep about that. And then they finally got their first win as they defeated the New Jersey Devils in handily fashion, as they always do. They're the biggest. You talked about the Ottawa Senators being Colt Cabana. The New Jersey Devils are probably the biggest slump busters out there. So if you ever heard having a little bit of a rut, if you play the New Jersey Devils, you might be able to get out of it. But anyway, Punk wants to settle things in the ring like they do in Chicago, and then with MJF, and then move forward on to the AEW title. So he mentioned it. It came out of his mouth. So it looks like that will be up next for Mr. Curtis Matthew Punk. Is that his name?
I don't think that's going to happen. I think CM Punk's going to lose to MJF.
Okay. Well, as we said, do we have the graphic? Did you make the graphic? No date yet? You have it here?
It should be. I made one.
Yeah, you made. I'm sorry. I got to go get it. John Connie, we had a tag team match. Ironically enough, last week, I asked Ryan, where the F is Trent? Ask and you shall receive.
That's it. We had the Young Bucks getting back at it at tag team action with Chaos in the form of Rocky Romero and Chuck Taylor. They went for a good long time. There was lots of extracurriculars outside with Cole and Orange Cassidy and Wheeler Yuta. In the end, Matt Jackson would reverse Rocky Romero Irish whip into a tombstone, and Nick would come in from the outside to complete the Meltzer driver, and Matt would cover Romero for the 1-2-3. But Cole and Orange Cassidy would continue their fight from the outside to the inside of the ring. Cole hit Panama Sunrise on Orange Cassidy. Then they set up for that triple BTE trigger on Orange Cassidy. But wait, what's that rolling into the arena but a white minivan with the most over mom in professional wrestling behind the wheel? Sue pops the side door and Trent emerges. He helps clear the ring, and he and the best friends, including Sue and Chris Statlander, celebrate in the ring with a big old hug, giving the people what they want.
Giving the people what they want. And I believe Trent got his last name back. They said the name Beretta on several occasions. So I believe Trent is dropping the question mark and adding Beretta back to his last name. So good for that. Jurassic Express and the Varsity Blondes defeated the Acclaimed in 2.0 after Jungle Boy hooked the snare trap on Max Caster. Here's a theme of the night. Actually, he just mentioned it too. A post-match attack in the back with Eddie Kingston, who interfered in the match, and Ortiz with 2.0 and Garcia. So I'm assuming it's going to be Kingston and Santana and Ortiz versus 2.0 and Danny Garcia. No date yet. Right? Cody Rhodes answered Sammy Guevara's open challenge, only to be interrupted by Ethan Page, who wasn't happy about that. Neither was Scorpio Sky, who's been in the top 5 of the rankings for quite some time now. So a lot of words were exchanged. I don't think Sammy's the one that's turning down the challenges here. So he put the belt down like a tough guy, told him to bring it while there was yards away in distance.
By the way, on that, we do have the Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara date. That's going to be Christmas week.
Oh yay! That'd be a fun present for John Smith.
It's just going to be 2 good guys going against each other, and then Cody will walk out the heel side, right?
No, he's going to walk out as champion. Make John Smith have he's going to be out for a couple more weeks if Cody wins that title.
I'm referring to the spot, the actual segment. Cody came out. And he said that to Sammy. He's like, hey, it's just going to be 2 good guys, going back and forth. And then Cody made to almost walk out the heel side, and he turned and went back out the babyface side.
Oh, really?
So they're leaning into it a little bit.
I never put it together. They had sides. Rio defeated Jamie Hayter with the Somato.
Sure.
You got that? Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So Britt Baker, again, here you go. Britt Baker with the post-match attack. # post-match attack. On Rio, locking in the lockjaw. No date yet announced. Ryan, I just missed that part of the graphics, the no date yet, but it's going to be Britt Baker and Rio at some point. Rio looking to become the first ever two-time women's champion. And in other news, Malachi Black interrupted a Varsity Blondes interview with Tony Schiavone and spat in Julia Hart's face. I think there are other ways to tell girls that you like them. I'm not exactly sure. You're normally pulling their hair, kicking them.
She's got her hair. She's got the pigtails. You can just pull on the pigtails like you're 11 years old again.
I mean, they're acting in varsity. They're acting like high school kids. What do you do in high school? Put gums in girls'
It would be great, though, if Julia goes dark now, right? If, this infects her or whatever. The story is, and she goes dark. Total departure from what she is now, right?
Yeah. So we had the going back to MJF and the UBS Arena, who was all with MJF. MJF from Nassau County, where UBS Arena is located. The Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal is the first leg of 2 to determine who is the illustrious holder of the Dynamite Diamond ring that MJF has won the prior 2 years. Ryan, would you like to talk about the Battle Royal?
Oh, the Battle Royal? I mean, it was good. I mean, the big storyline coming out of it was the fact that Dante Martin turned on Team Taz. Starks and Dante Martin had MJF dead to rights. It was going to be 2-on-1, except Dante Martin tossed out Ricky Starks. And then it was, then the winners are Dante Martin and MJF of the Battle Royal. Like you said, now they go on to face each other this week. But what's interesting is Dante Martin joins a pretty good crowd of people that have lost to MJF in this match. The first year it was Hangman Page, the current AEW World Champion. The second year was Orange Cassidy, who has had title shots and hasn't won one, but he's definitely one of their top stars. So
he made event to the pay-per-view. He made event to the pay-per-view with Kenny Omega. Not many people. Right. You have 5 pay-per-views a year. Not many people can say that, especially when Kenny Omega has one of the slots, on a consistent basis. So kind of jumped the gun here. We are going to be picking that match, and it will count towards the standings. So here are our overall standings. Ryan Joy has a 100-point lead over myself, who has come out like a bat out of hell, leapfrogging John Smith and John DeConnie in the overall standings. 30 shows so far, boys. It feels like we just started the new season, but we are coming to a close. Still have some major points ahead of us. Our AEW standings, John DeConnie, a 17-point lead over Ryan Joy. He's got a 9-point lead over John Smith.
7 points.
Really haven't gotten out of the gate. All those cracks that AEW is so predictable, and there I am, 5th place. Winter is Coming is a weekly televised show scoring, so you're going to get 5 points for the AEW title match, 3 points for all other title matches, 1 for the non-title matches. If there's an interpromotional match, I do not think there are any, we'll have a 1-point bump if you get all matches correct. Right now there are 4, and it looks like it's going to stay that way for the time being. You will get a bonus 5 points. So with that, we're going to go with the Dynamite Diamond Ring final, where MJF and Dante Martin, we just talked about. Ryan Joy, our senior AEW correspondent. Team Taz going to let this go.
I was kind of excited about somebody else getting the Diamond Ring, but Dante Martin doesn't seem like the right guy. I don't think there's any chance that Dante Martin's going to be beating MJF. If this had come down to Dante Martin versus Ricky Starks or Dante Martin versus Leo Rush or something like that, then I could see Dante winning. But I don't think MJF is going to lose a match when he's got this big CM Punk thing coming. So, MJF.
Yeah, I'm going with MJF as well, John DeConnie. Yeah, Dante Martin, he's a sedan here. You don't really see too much, with the sedans.
Yeah.
No reason. Sorry, Ryan.
Right now, it's so part and parcel to the MJF character.
That's the other reason, too.
Once he gets down to this final 2, I don't see it going the other way.
All right. Ryan Joy, you were trying to do some digging here on why these two could possibly have a match with each other. And it stems off the match that we just picked. So we have MJF on the side with Wardlow, and you have, Matt Sydal. Actually, he's one of the sedans, not Dante Martin. So we got Wardlow versus Matt Sydal. Wardlow, I take cracks at inaction and stuff, and I don't want to call Matt Sydal an inaction, but he's not a top-tier guy, let's say, and Wardlow usually takes care of these guys in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think the situation here is that Matt Sydal's role on the roster is to have really good matches with whoever he wrestles, whether that's CM Punk or it's Wardlow. So maybe this will be, Wardlow showing us something. He can certainly throw Matt Sydal around the ring with no issues. But in the end, yes, Matt Sydal will just be a casualty of Wardlow.
It seems like Matt Sydal was born for this role, John DeConnie.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yes, give me Wardlow here.
In the next, we actually have a women's match. We have Hikaru Shida and Serena Deeb. These two have been at it for quite some time right now. I believe this is the rubber suit match where both women have won a match each in the series, right? That's what it's a rubber suit match.
That's what it means usually. I'm checking that right now, by the way.
You're gonna wear rubber suits? I would love that. Anyway, okay, so that's just get your mind out of the gutter, Al. Yeah, I believe it was the first time Shida went for her 50th win and lost, and then she went for her 50th win. I believe it was in the tournament and won in advance. So that would be my guess towards
Correct.
that. I don't know if they fought before or after that, but yeah, the series is 1-1.
Yep.
John DeConnie, who wins the rubber suit match?
So Serena Deeb's the only one who wears anything that looks kind of like rubber, so give me her.
That's as better reason to take anybody as I've ever heard, John DeConnie. There you go. Ryan Joy.
I think this is the hardest match on the card to call, but I am going to lean towards Shida. I think that Shida needs a big win here to keep her kind of in the upper part of the card. Deeb kind of does too, so like I said, it could go either way. But I'm gonna lean with Shida because I think that's the more feel good moment for the show.
Yeah, I got Hikaru Shida too. I'm a fan of hers. I believe in her. So yeah, it'd be nice. I'm trying to think of where she can go from here because this has been a great feud. These are two great female wrestlers. They haven't signed off a bit. So maybe now do you do Shida versus like Jade Cargill after this, or do you do Shida versus? You can't go back to Nyla again, but there's got to be others.
Well, she needs a return.
Penelope Ford put on a barn burner about a year and a half, 2 years ago. But then get at it again. That'd be fun.
Well, this is a big match. It's the biggest singles women's match outside of the tournament and the title that they've had. So, the winner should get Britt Baker, I think. And Shida, I don't believe, has had a return match. So give her the return.
And then there's the match for all the marbles. It was precedented last week. It was Bryan Danielson's last stop on the Dark Order train, the knockoff train, where he was picking them off all one by one. This time it was John Silver after a crotch pile driver into some sort of submission, which was irrelevant because Silver was knocked out by getting dropped on his head via the crotch pile driver. Post-match attack. There you go. Hashtag post-match attack. You got to make graphics for that. Hashtag post-match attack. By Danielson on Silver, thwarted by Hangman Adam Page, our hero. This match, I believe they booked a couple of weeks ago. Everybody's been excited about it. Gary's on Hangman Page. I do believe this is Hangman Page's first title defense. I'll throw my Dragunov theory out to you guys now if you weren't paying attention in my use case segment with Gary. Adam Page did the impossible, just like Ilya Dragunov did. He beat Kenny Omega. He's now an AEW champion. You cannot ever take those two things away from him. He can lose now, and he'll still be a former AEW champion. He'll still be the guy who beats Kenny Omega. Everyone's going to love him because he lost his first title match, and he's got to get back on that horse, pun intended, to get right back into the swing of things. And then we have our superstar heel, Vegan Cheeks, as Biggie used to call him. I think Bryan Danielson, you can't just say Adam Page just because it's his first title defense, he's going to win this. I don't think you can say that. Ryan Joy, your thoughts?
So you're picking Bryan Danielson?
I'm going to pick Bryan Danielson.
Okay.
I think this is because you put up. I'll let you have your own little stats here. There we go. To be honest, I don't even care about who wants to win. Just want possibly 5 stars. I don't know if can Hangman Page have a 5-star match. That's another question, but we'll talk about that another day. Yeah, tell us your stat. Let's make history here. It's never been done before, right? If Hangman loses this match, it's never been done before.
Yeah, I think Jericho has the shortest. I know Jericho has the shortest title reign. He won it all out. He lost at Revolution. John Moxley went from Revolution to Winter is Coming. Kenny Omega went from Winter is Coming to Full Gear. So if Hangman Page were to lose here, it was a 1-month title reign, first defense. It'd be the shortest ever. Not to say it can't happen. I think that's what you're leaning into, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying. I'm saying it'd be interesting to kind of switch it on its head a little. And Ryan, let's be fair here. Not just the world title. Let's talk all titles here.
True. Yeah, Shida. Look at Shida. She held that belt for 17 months.
Even Nyla Rose had it longer than a month. Kenny Omega and Adam Page had the tag titles for a year and a half. This would be the shortest title in the history of everything. So I think they could switch it up a little bit.
Having said that,
yes,
and I listened to the way that you and Gary kind of talked about this earlier in the show. Hangman Page, he was on the verge of, I think, a point of no return. They had built him up. AEW had built him up to win this title a couple of different times, and through circumstances, rightfully so, the birth of his child and stuff like that, he wasn't going to be around for All Out, so it was delayed. And I think at that point when he won the title, he was almost kind of on a downward swing in terms of momentum. and he won the title, and I think now he's there. If they were to pull that title off him now, I think he's done. Like he needs a reign. And I think, yes, I think there's something to what you're saying of like, hey, a short title reign would keep us on our toes.
Yeah,
I just don't think that it's here. I think we had a long run as Kenny Omega as a heel champion. I think now we do a run with Hangman Page as our champion. And frankly, I always thought the Omega Danielson match was huge. I thought the Omega Punk match was huge. But those two guys, saving them for the Hangman Page run would give Page those credentials to make him kind of a bigger star. So I'm going Page, thinking, yes, Page is going to run through Danielson, MJF, and Punk in his title reign before we're looking at a new champion. And I don't know who the next guy would be at this point.
Okay. Now, is it Hangman Page took a shot at Danielson, John Licani? I beat Kenny Omega, and I did it in less than 30 minutes. And that's a shot because Bryan Danielson couldn't get it done. And that wasn't even a non-title match. Kenny Omega, he was human in that match. It wasn't even a title match. And Bryan Danielson couldn't get it done. Now, with that, maybe this will segue into your pick. I don't know who you're picking. What would a loss for Bryan Danielson do to him right now? Like, he's supposed to, I don't say be untouchable, but he's still a fresh face. He's the biggest bad guy in the company.
Exactly, and I think it's so much fun to boo him that it doesn't completely kill him. You know, he can find the next guy to be a D-bag too, and we're right back to booing him, and he's right back into that spot as the number one bad guy. So I am going to go with Page, but I have to tell you that I am completely enamored with your idea of the short run. I just don't think it's going to be the first try. I could see MJF taking it off of him. And to add to your theory, the other thing that I liked was that for Page, if he was going to have this short run, then he gets it right back. So now he's got that pattern. Not only is he the guy who beat Kenny Omega, he's then the first two-time world champion.
Yeah.
I just don't think it happens right here. So I can see it happening maybe with MJF or whatever. So give me Page here, but I do really I'm very much intrigued by your idea of the short run.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this is a lock. I don't know. This is honestly, like I said, this is a tough match for me to pick. I take those shots at AEW is predictable. In my head, this match is a tough match to pitch. But you know, if you look at you going forward, you have Danielson. Imagine him coming out next Wednesday on Dynamite as the world champion. The place is going to go bullshit. So that's one thing. And then the second, you just put Hangman Page right back in the bar. And now you got the Dark Lord trying to pick him back up again. And we get, come on, Page, let's go, come on.
You know, the other thing is, I think this is only a temporary heel turn for Danielson. I think, unless he wins. To your point, if he wins, he's a heel. If he loses, it all depends on who he wrestles next week, right?
This could just be to put Hangman over. That's exactly 100% could happen. 100%. So, and that's the fun part of this. This is a fun match to discuss. There's a lot of different twists and turns, and congratulations, good work, AEW. You have us talking, you have us guessing. Good job. It's not in action all the time. I keep on telling you that. It's not in action all the time with AEW. Sometimes they put out some quality stuff.
Yeah, you're always there to have AEW's back. I love that.
I think that Sheeta Deep match is really hard to call.
It is. No, that one's 50-50 too. That's a tough one. I'm picking Sheeta just based out of loyalty. And Serena Deeb is an outstanding female.
Now we all picked Wardlow, but some people might have a hard time picking that match against Matt Sedan as well. So
that's it. All right, so here we go. Here we go. That's it. A minute 43. We're back to normal time here. All right, primetime rundown powered by StreamYard with Joey Jarzenga, Ian Schreier, and Rob DeLuca is now airing at 7 p.m. on Friday nights as they take you through the world of sports right here on all of the Eastern Observer platforms. For more information, please go to theeasternobserver.com. With this, we have invaded the primetime rundown. As you know, all NFL season long, we have been a part of this little inter-Eastern promotional survivor pool. And here are our standings. I get those words messed up.
The standings.
Here are our standings. There we go. Just from our end of things, from the Essential Wrestling Podcast side of things, we went 5-0. Would have went 6. Tyler forgot to put a pick in. Gary, I want to give Gary half credit here because the congratulations to the New York City football team or whatever the football club. They are the new MLS champions. They won in a shootout. They beat whoever they were doing. They showed it on the Videotron during the Riptide game over the weekend, or one of the Islanders games maybe. It was the Islanders game. Crowd went crazy. Local team won the championship. So maybe we can give Gary half a credit point on that since he got the game right. It's just the wrong sport again. It's not football. It's soccer football. So, but hey, kudos to us. Now we have 5 of our 6 competitors in double digits with wins. The primetime rundown, they had a good week too. They went 5 for 6 as well. And the guy that didn't get the win, Casey Bryant there in the bottom, he also failed to submit a pick. So we kind of washed each other out, each with 5 wins, and then I guess a no contest if you want to call it that, but it counts as a loss, it doesn't count as a tie. So we still have a 6-game lead over the primetime rundown. Staying with football for just one quick second, it is that wonderful time of year again where it's fantasy football playoffs. I am in 2 leagues. One we'll get to right now. John Smith's not here today, but I just want to give this in both of the leagues that are involved with me. It's a 4-team playoff, so the playoffs don't start this weekend as a 16 playoff would do. So we actually have an interesting race going in the Stone Age Football League with myself and John Smith. His team, if you see up there in the top, Andre the Giant, my team, the Dirty Sanchez. We are in a first place tie. We both clinched the playoff berth. He wins the tiebreaker because of the amount of points he scored throughout the total of the season. So he's going to win the tiebreaker if it ends in a tie. But we get to play each other this week. So we will be fighting for the number 1 seed. And we all know how important home field advantage is in fantasy football. So we are competing for that. But going to the Ham and Eggers League, which is our league with the 3 of us, along with Tyler. Ryan Joy, did you remember that you're in a fantasy football league?
No, I forgot.
It looked like it. You were starting a lot of guys who were injured on buys, but me and John Nicani, you can see right there, my team is called Evolution. I am in second place tie with John Nicani, who's there in third. We were both 9-5. We both had clinched a playoff spot. We will be playing each other next week in the playoffs. We can have a breakdown of that of some sorts if I have time to make a graphic for it. But if you look on the bottom, I know this is tough to see. I kind of screwed this up. It's a little tough to see. If you look on the bottom, right there in 6th place is King Jong Goons, which is Tyler Adele's team. His graphic is a picture of former Islander coach Jack Capuano, which is funny. His team right now is 7-7 at 500. He needs some things to have happen for him to make the playoffs and get that 4th and final spot. And I get the common courtesy of playing him in the last week to eliminate him and get the picture. So
Nice.
So that is where we are with fantasy football. The playoffs will start next week. And like I said, I have John Nicani. John Smith and I are on a collision course for a Super Bowl rematch from, I said it was last year, but it wasn't. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. I get confused. I make it every year. He's spotty every once in a while.
Hey, Al, did you see that last comment by James Wheeler? It's back to wrestling. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
You know,
that's funny.
We didn't really talk about, Winter is Coming was a huge thing last year because Sting debuted and the title change. We didn't talk about whether or not we think anything interesting like that could happen this year.
All right, Sting coming back again. Sting gonna be there.
I know,
Ryan. It was a big deal. I'm joking around. I don't care about Sting. I know, Ryan. You were there. We got a couple minutes before I do the rest of the promos. So sure, Wyndham is coming. Is Wyndham Rotunda on his way? Is there anybody else that has had their 90-day clause? Yes, I did see something Nick Khan said. There's more surprises and more fun stuff ready to come in the next couple of weeks. You can't miss TV.
Wait, Nick Khan or Tony Khan?
Tony Khan, yeah, Nick, whatever. Tony
Well,
Khan. I know it's not
a different television show.
Yeah, I know. So one has an oversized roster, and the other one's going to ruin another company. So
I don't know. It's just interesting. I hadn't even given it any thought, but I think Bray Wyatt's the biggest name that's out there. Braun Strowman he had a debut on Ring of Honor this past week. So you could always do crossovers. They're not opposed to working with anybody. So it's interesting.
Plus, there's a whole slew of Ring of Honor guys
Yes.
that are out there now, too. Let's see, Dalton Castle. That would be a huge debut. It'd be bigger than Sting's, I can tell you that. John DeConnie, any surprises you're thinking? I didn't even think of it. I just
Yeah, not necessarily.
Now you just raised my expectations, and if nothing happens, I'm going to be upset. And Travis will hear about it.
Yeah, I think if we're gonna see anything, we're AEW, yeah, they can pull anything out they want to. But the thing that happened this weekend that had me the most intrigued was EC3. As ROH was bidding us adieu, at least for the next quarter year. EC3 freed the Titan, and Adam Shear made his debut. I don't know who the other two guys were, but apparently EC3 has some minions. He now has a Titan on his side, and he's continuing with the control your narrative, and come with me and let's take back this industry. He was bleep talking all of the 3-letter federations or 3-letter brands backed by new money and old, and blah blah blah. I would expect him to, show up somewhere, although I tend to think probably going back to Impact makes more sense for him.
Well, it's not a 3-letter company.
There you go.
That's a good point.
Okay, it's to be determined. Maybe we do get Bray. Maybe. Again, now if they don't. Body Slam Brigade newsletter. Brian, what are we up to? I still have 4,500 here. We got to be over that by now.
Yeah, it's close to 5K.
All right, $5,000, 5K subscribers. Receive this weekly column. Make sure you go to minutestobelltime.com to subscribe. The Body Slam Brigade by Ryan for you for free. The Black Cats NYC's most recent album just celebrated their year anniversary. Free cake. Still haven't gotten any free cake from them, but we're getting great music from them, which is the most important thing. That is their job. They are the official band of the Eastern Observer. Anywhere you can get music, you can get the Black Cats NYC, their new album, Free Cake. Play it now, play loud. As always, the Essential Wrestling Podcast is sponsored by ProWrestlingPick'em.com, the internet leader in sports entertainment pick'em pools. Join us in the Essential Wrestling Podcast public pool to play against us or create a private pool with you and your friends. ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends, play against the universe, and guys, she will like it too. Join us back here next week, our new bat time, 5 p.m. on all our same bat viewing options. We will be back for episode 85. John DeConnie, anything before we get out of here?
No, just another great week of wrestling ahead of us. Looking forward to Winter is Coming.
Yeah, I'm looking back to the throwback. What do you think is going to happen at Throwback Throw? You can see me downtown Daddy Brown, Ryan Joy, defend his title against Sex Ferguson.
Could be. Yeah, Sex Ferguson. I think I would take him in that match against downtown Daddy Brown.
Sex Ferguson's a tough out. He's a tough in and a tough out, from what if I heard the rumors correctly.
Tough in and out. Okay, yeah, I get
it. Thank you so much for joining us this week. For John DeConnie, for Ryan Joy, we are the Essential Wrestling Podcast. Alexa Bliss, we love you. Larry Steve, forever in our hearts. John DeConnie, take us home.
Thanks for joining us. And as always, we wish you the best in all your future endeavors.
I think we forgot to do that last week, too. I forgot to do Alexa, and I got it in at the end. We forgot to do your catcher. God damn it. I was rusty last week.